How's everyone doing, man? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I got my coffee. I think the stress of changing jobs has made me a little tired. I was trying to figure out why am I a little more tired these last few days. And it's one, I've started drinking more caffeine. And two, I am I think just a little stressed out from the transition process of, going through an offboarding. Not that like I was gonna say my current employer, but no longer as of 2.5 hours ago. My previous employer, I can see her looking at me through the webcam. It's kind of a trip. Just going through that, they were wonderful though, and best. It's I shouldn't say I didn't quit. I resigned. I took a different opportunity, and it's very strange to leave a place. I shouldn't say it's strange. It's strange to leave the best place you ever worked at. Does that make sense? Not to say that there aren't better places, and I think I'm going to one at Amazon. I'm very excited about it. But it is a strange thing to leave an organization and in your exit interview say, I'd recommend it to everybody. I enjoyed my time here. You have your criticisms and critiques, but and that literally up until that point, it was the best job I ever had. So today was my last day at that job, and made some good friends, some good connections. Very excited by that, and put my email, LinkedIn, and all that in the chat. Got a few of them to add me that would be interested. Am I headed to California? No. Eventually Seattle, though. Eventually Seattle. So it's it's been one of those items where it's been good. On a cool side note, let me see. Do you see that in the background? The rug? That's my jacuzzi. Because I'm not sure what the thing is with I'd probably go buy a legit one as sort of like a treat for like moving to a FANG company, just as like a reward to myself and excited. And I bought myself one of those rubber jacuzzis to go out on the patio. I'm getting screened in also. Hey, did I tell you the other day I got laid off work, but just got an interview set up for Facebook? Congratulations, man. Please be studying those data structures and algorithms. Algo experts, what I use, as you probably know. Closer to parents. Yeah. I don't ever want to go back to California. It would take quite a bit. They would have to double my new salary to get me back in California. So I really, I don't know, man. I don't want to go back to California. I'll be really glad once I'm out there to be close enough that I can visit much easier, and my parents can visit much easier. That'll be really nice. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I wanted to set that up today. Yeah. I don't have income tax in Florida either, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, the housing is a little bit more expensive. But I definitely made up for that. I don't plan on buying a house when I go to Seattle anyhow. Love your podcast. Great, man. I'm glad. Eric and I started recording again the podcast, so not sure when it's going to come out. We're not in any rush. I start my new job on Monday. I've been doing some Scrimba courses. Been living life a little bit. So it's been sort of taking it easy and whatnot. So I'm not in a rush with the podcast. I want to burn myself out. Am I nervous to start? I mean, there's always a level of nervousness. Um, you know, I have everything I need. I have to go through all the like boilerplate of work. Um, I've worked at so PwC is a major organization. Obviously, there's only one company larger than Amazon. It's Walmart, according to like largest companies. But PwC isn't a small organization. They have 250,000 employees internationally, and billions and billions in transactions. Right. So, um, I imagine some similar things in terms of what it's like to get. You have to do some training, some onboardings, and I don't expect a very fast ramp up. Now, if it is, dope, because I hate all that stuff. Like they pay me to write code, right? And like I like writing code more than I like doing paperwork and like trainings. But you gotta do what you gotta do what was necessary, right? So um, I'm nervous just to go through all the stuff. This will be the first job I've had. I'll tell you what I'm nervous about. This will be the first job I've had that has started off remote. So like even though I worked the last so I think how long was I at PwC according to LinkedIn? All right, let me see here. So I was at LinkedIn for roughly 1 year, 8 months. So about a year and a half of that I worked remotely. And that was fantastic. This was the longest employer I ever had by 3 months. And part of that was I love the remote aspect of it, but it didn't start off remote. So now they're starting a new job fully remote. That's going to be interesting. So I'm a little nervous about that because it's not like I can just run down to HR and there might be a little bit of hand holding. Who do I talk to? X, Y, and Z and all that sort of stuff. But what is it? But that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. Do you enjoy remote more than in-person work? I enjoy, I actually enjoy going into work. So for me, I'm much more, I don't like the commuting. So like, I'd rather buy a house that I consider good value, meaning like the cost per square foot is lower and the quality is better. So like my house, 15 miles towards Tampa, it's about 22-mile drive. So if I live like 10 miles outside of Tampa, it'd probably be, first off, it wouldn't be new, but a similar house might be twice the price. So like I'm always willing to make a 1 hour commute, like tops each way, for a lower cost of living. And like, but it's because I think long term is the best play, right? Now I'm not always going to be able to do that, but anyhow, so I love aspects of remote. My ideal scenario is going into the office 2 days a week. That's my ideal scenario, where you get sort of a best of both worlds. So I love the remote life though. I do. It's just nice, man. I mean, it's nice to you're in your element, right? So like this is my domain. And in the book I just read, the War of Art, there's this whole section about, as an artist, you have your territory. And the example they give is Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to the gym, and like no matter what the gym is, that's his territory. He owns it. Like he knows what's up, right? When Bill Gates walks around on the Microsoft campus, there's not a step that he takes that isn't confident, right? And like when I'm at home in my office, in my home, you know, this is my domain, and like this is where, like, this is home territory, you know what I mean? Like it's so there's part of that goes into remote where it's like I'm using like little things, like I'm using my own bathroom, I have my kitchen right there, my dogs are here, I have my desk and the setup that I like to use. Like, so there's a lot of little things with remote work that are really nice. When I take a walk, I just go take a walk, right? And I come back, I work, right? I have my own standing desk, and there's a lot of cool things about remote other than just not commuting to the office. But then again, in the office, it's like it's just a different thing. Like you go in and like all those things are fine, right? Like you have a kitchen, you have bathrooms, you know, X, Y, and Z. But it's a different, it's a different, it's almost like a different medium in a weird way, where it's a little bit more friendly. It's a little bit more, not even friendly, like sometimes I feel like you feel more obligated to get more done remotely because there's no one around you. And it's a bad mentality to have. But like in the office, I think the inverse is true. Like you're here, they see you're here. That's all that can be asked. Like, I don't know. It's a, it's a, it's a, it's a strange thing. Am I allowed to talk about the type of technical interview questions you had at Amazon? Probably not. I know they sent me an NDA. I think I forgot to actually sign it, but the intent of it is for me not to talk about the questions. I do remember like thinking like after I took the interview, like I don't think I ever signed that NDA. Should I send it to him? I was like, I might. That might cause issues. I was like, I'm not going to talk about it anyhow. They'll let me know. Like words of the wise. For those of you who want to have sort of a social media presence or a personal brand out there, you're often better not talking in details about your current employer. So you didn't sign one for your Amazon interview? I didn't sign one for the 1 hour, but for the 5 hour, I think that's when it came in, or the larger technical interview. Will I be front end engineer? Yes, I will be. That is my title of sorts. You know how it's dorky. Am I going to move to Seattle eventually? That's the plan. It's so hard to say though, because like basically it's expected that at some point I will, but who knows when the campus is going to open? Is it going to get pushed back? Is there going to be a rolling open? Is there going to be a hard like date? Hey, we want you here by here. Or when works best for you? You're going back to the office next week full time? Should have came to my team, Alex. They're full remote, dog. They're still hiring if you're interested. You work for the FBI, and it's fine with me all day. Well, I mean, first off, that's unfortunate. Secondly, you're welcome. You get to look at such eye candy 24/7. All right. Hey. How have I been? I've been good, man. I'm a little tired right now. Things like this are emotionally draining. And it's not like anyone did anything wrong. Anyone did anything like that. It's just like leaving a job and stuff like that. You go through the process of like, so it's one of those items where it's just draining. Like you know, sometimes waiters and waitresses will talk about like this emotional energy they have to do their job. It's not a physical job as much. I mean, there's physical aspects, but like there's an emotional, there's like a psychic energy that they have to have. No, my coworkers didn't cry. They made like a nice little card for me. They're sad to see me go, obviously. It was somewhat made clear that if things don't work out, that there'd be something there for me. I don't imagine that will be the case. But that was a nice gesture, very much so. Added a couple of colleagues added me on LinkedIn and stuff like that. What am I going to be doing now? I'll be doing front end engineering with Amazon. And the dogs. They also come with me, which I read online on. They always say that. No, not every place says that. I assure you. They say it to me because I do a great job, but I assure you, as people who I've worked with who haven't done great jobs, it's not something that's said all the time, and it's definitely not something meant all the time. So I assure you, it's not. Like your programs, I'm a physicist. But I just got for today's biomedical company. That's cool. How many percent more will you be making? A ridiculous amounts of percents more. What project would you have a front end engineer build if you want to see they're competent enough to work on team? I always tell people a basic CRUD app, something that used like an admin tool, because a lot of those entry level roles are going to be creating CRUD tools for businesses to run their platforms. So that's always something good. And if you want to do something spicy, a progressive web app, a component library is actually something that's really good as well. What's a progressive web app? PWA. It's more or less a web app that has certain features. So some of the character defining ones are they have to be mobile responsive. I think it's actually have to be mobile first. I don't remember if it's mobile responsive or mobile first. They also have to have a service worker. Service workers allow things like client-side caching, online, offline modes. Is a single-page app a progressive app? No. A single-page app can be a progressive web app. So like if you go and open up the inspector and you go to the Lighthouse tool in Chrome, you'll see a PWA thing there. It'll tell you what it needs to be, but it's the general idea is to make your web app look and feel and function more like a native app on your phone. And it's pretty cool stuff. The reason it hasn't taken off super well is because Apple is dragging their feet because they make billions and billions of dollars on their app store. But that's the gist of it. Hey man, huge thanks for all the videos. I learned a ton and you answered a lot of career questions. I'm officially a remote software architect. Sounds like you should be telling people how to do things. Am I nervous about the new job? Not overly nervous, no. I'm nervous in the sense of like I have to get set up remote and do all that. And it's the first job I've had that started off remote, right? I'm nervous in the sense that I have to meet new people and do all that sort of stuff, right? Get out of my introverted shell. Nervous in the sense of like I have to figure out like what my day looks like now and meetings, all that sort of stuff, do all the introductions. So but nothing like oh my god, am I gonna get fired 2 weeks in? I'm not nervous like that. So it'll be exciting though. I'm really excited. I know I'm kind of like mellow right now. It's Friday and it's been a long week and I didn't have any plans tonight. I figured I'd live stream and say hello. I was like, I'm either cleaning up the patio and putting that out there, or I'm going to do a live stream, and I just didn't have the energy to do that. So I thought I'd say hello. How y'all doing? This coffee needs to kick in. I feel like it's just slowly going into the veins right now. It needs to be more shotgunned in. How's the workout going? Great, man. I've my workout hasn't been doing as well as it did in the past, but I've been doing about 4 days this last 2 weeks. I've just sort of been I've been a little bit of a slump lately, just for stress and whatnot. But now that like this is wrapping up and new adventures are ahead, and getting out of it a little bit, just I also worked really hard the last 3 weeks. I helped wrap up the 24 days of JavaScript miss. I did a clean code course and a introduction to unit testing course that's going to come out on Scrim, but also I did an interview or two, not like for jobs, but people interview me. So it's just been one of those things where I did more work recently than I'm accustomed to again. And so I went back to an old schedule. I went back into work mode for like 3 weeks, and it kind of exhausted me. So right now I'm kind of chilling. And I did that because I did exactly what I shouldn't do. I went straight back into work mode because I wasn't feeling very well, like emotionally. And so what I did was I regressed completely and went back into work mode where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling well. You know what? You know how to feel better? I don't know that right now, but you know how to not think about it? Yeah, I do. I'm going to work. And I got a ton done, but it was also, 3 weeks later, I was like, oh, I know what I need to do, and it's not work. So, we're not trying to do the same things that we did before. Getting my soul on, something like that, man. I'm kind of at the weight that I want to be, which is about 170. I'm at a weight where women are complimenting me on my physique, which is nice. That usually doesn't happen. It wasn't happening too long ago. It's not like they're drooling from their face. Like, oh, you look nice. You look handsome. You know, your back's chiseled or whatnot. Dear God, you're a Greek god. I was like, it's like, no, that's that other YouTuber. So, but no, I'm just, hey, baby girl. I know I spanked her this morning because she dug again 2 nights in a row. I've been trying to do like positive reinforcement, and I've been doing that for like 6 weeks, putting her in timeouts, and I had to, not raising my voice, but I had to raise my voice and gently spank her. Are your math skills strong? I mean, compared to what? I think they're strong. I mean, I can do fundamental algebra. That's pretty much what my job requires on occasion. My job requires basic arithmetic and algebra. I've yet to work on a project in my career where I need to do calculus or trigonometry. However, back when I was doing my computer science program, I did complete 3 calculus classes, a trigonometry class, maybe 2 trig classes, I don't remember, a discrete mathematics class. Oh, what else? Would I get another dog? No, never in a million years. Like, I wouldn't have dogs I would never have got dogs if it was just, I got dogs because April. And it was April and me at the time. And so like, don't get me wrong, I love these guys, but like they do limit my lifestyle. It's harder for me to travel. It's harder for me to maybe do overnights with friends and things like that, and go on dates. And, they cost money. Not that it's a obscene amount of money or anything like that, but when I look at what I'm going to do with my life, like I can't just go buy a condo in downtown Seattle I mean, I could, but then I have 120 pounds of dog in a small studio condo, right? That's completely different, right? Like, it's just it limits my lifestyle, and like I love them to death. They're not going anywhere. But if it was just me, I know all these things when I got dogs. So, you know, I I knew all these things when I got the dogs, but I was in a different position in life. I was in a position where at the time, I thought I was going to be, moving to the next step of my life in terms of relationships and, marriage, kids, all that sort of thing. So like, I was never going to go and get a single man place, right? I was never going to go like, like I joke all the time about how weird it is to live in the community I live in. So like, so I have this big ass house that's clearly a family man's house, right? It's 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, like 3,000 square feet. It's one of the bigger homes in the community. And I'm the only dude that lives in it with my 2 dogs. For a living, I work from home and I work in pajamas. So I'm taking walks constantly in the middle of the day in my pajamas and my flip-flops and a t-shirt. I'm literally the only I'm almost positive I'm the only single dude in the entire community. And because this is a family community. This isn't like single dude out going partying and, not that I'm partying, but you get the idea. Like this isn't a downtown area where you're going out and going on dinner dates and things like this. This is like suburbs where like all my neighbors have like 4 kids. It's not even like 2, or they're retirees. So it's just one of those things. But I bought that because I was a different point. What's your least favorite site builder? It's been a while since I've it's been a while since I've worked in WordPress, but it was always kind of hacky to have to work to do anything unique in WordPress. But I don't really care about any of them. So, but yeah, I wouldn't like beyond calculus 1. Yeah, there's calculus 1, 2, 3. I don't remember what they were all called, but various aspects of calculus. I don't know anything about distributed systems. But yeah, I mean, so I would tell you guys, this would be my advice to a lot of you, is if you absolutely want a pet, if you absolutely 100% of the time feel like you need a pet, go get yourself a cat. Because dogs are so much more work. Cats are kind of solitary creatures. They'll hang out with you when you're home, but like all they need is a litter box. Dogs need to be walked. They need an area to run around in. Yeah, and like when I was I've always been a pet person, right? So like I've always had 1 or 2 cats my entire life. And so like if I had cats right now versus dogs, yeah, I could go buy a condo in downtown and like live in it. Because like I don't use this space. I don't need all this space by any means. And like the next place I'm gonna buy, it's not gonna be that big. So I would definitely recommend, especially in our industry where you're probably going to jump jobs. What made me leave my current company? I've always wanted to work at a FANG company, and it made, from a compensation standpoint, made sense. So I can I ask you to deliver my pizza anymore? Yeah, my pizza delivery rates have gone up quite a bit. You can ask. It's gonna be an expense. It's gonna be a pizza that you might have to pay with Bitcoin in. Which, what's Bitcoin at right now? 18. Good for them. Dogs will eat your course also. Do you know if QA would be a good starting point for someone who eventually wants to do software? Yeah, it's, I mean, it really depends on what you want to do, man. You may find that you love QA. You know, my buddy Javier, who I met through, he was running a conference. He started out in QA and then got into dev, and I think that's a valid path. I think what you're gonna find is that if you're not disciplined, it's gonna be harder to get out of that path. What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example of my personal situation. When I had my first job, I was using Angular, JS, and PHP. Now, I could get jobs that paid slightly more in PHP, but I knew I didn't want to work in PHP, not only because I didn't prefer the language, but because I from what I saw at the time, PHP jobs were going down, they were legacy in design, while other aspects were going up. And so I made that choice. I got offers, or like interest, I should say, because I never pursued them, for PHP jobs. And the same thing can happen to you in QA. So if you have experience in quality assurance, it's going to be easier to get jobs in quality assurance. And if you don't have the discipline and understand the challenge that's going to go along with that, and you're going to take the easier path, then you may just have a career in QA. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But something to be aware of. It's a valid path, though. It really is. But you don't, like, this is what I would do. Like, when I took before my first dev job, I took a technology trainer role, which was like a BA and a business analyst and like a technical writer. I took that role, and in 9 months, I studied every single day to go get a dev job, with the goal of either moving into QA at my current role or to moving into dev. Now, it never happened there for whatever reason, but I did do what I was going to say do. But take Eric, for instance, not to like throw Eric under the bus or anything like that. It's not really my thing, but Eric, let me look at his LinkedIn. Eric had a dev job and then went into QA, and he was in QA for 3 years, right? So he stayed in QA for 3 years before he was able to go back into dev. And he's just trying to get out of there, and it's just one of those things where sometimes it's hard. And you have to always remember what the goal is, and it's not always the path of least resistance. And we have a tendency as individuals to follow the path of least resistance, because that's just the way it goes. Do I use online dating? I have, yes. I guess I am, yeah. Not very well. What apps do I use for whiteboard? I use a whiteboard right there. A whiteboard. So I'm a C# dev in Columbus, Ohio, full stack at the moment, 1.5 years experience, making $60K. In your opinion, what should I be making more? I don't know what the Columbus, Ohio market is, but I can tell you in the Tampa market, I was making around 100,000 doing front end about that point in time in my career. 105,000. And I was, so Sharp, my opinion is that you're probably underpaid. And we could check that out real quick. Let's see here. If I go to LinkedIn, I go to jobs, and I do full stack developer. Stack developer. No, it's what does it pay? God, I forget how to. You can see on here, jobs. Interview prep, salary. There's a salary section on here that you can see. So full stack developer, and we'll do Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio, United States. Let's see here. There's no such thing as a full stack developer in Columbus, Ohio. Let's try something else. How about let's just try Ohio. Ohio. Columbus, Ohio metropolitan area. Huh. Full stack engineer. There we go. Full stack engineer. Okay, so a full stack engineer in Columbus, Ohio, the average base salary is $83,500. Now, according to this, you're about $23,000 underpaid. Now, at 1.5 years, you may or may not. Let's see here. Okay, so if we do 1 to 5 years, which is what you're in, it says 82.5. So there's 84.3 actually for 1 to 2 years. Now, let's say you do less than a year, it's 83,800. So yeah, you're underpaid according to LinkedIn. Which means that there's probably a company out there that will easily pay you $20,000 more. Because even if you go up to 80, you'll increase your income by 20%, or by 20,000, which is a third, which essentially means you got a pay bump for 4 extra months of work a year, if you look at it that way, which is how I look at salary increases. So like, I just doubled my income, so it's as if in 1 year I worked for 2, right? That's how I look at it. And so you should look at salary increases in terms of what would it take you to go and get that. And so like, even if it took you 2 months to go get this job, you studied for 2 months, that's assuming that's only a 1 year return. Also, it's not going to be a 1 year return. That you would still have a 2 month gain in the first year alone. Yo, hey Ryan, how's it going, man? I found a Union High School class 2006. I haven't gone to any of the stuff. Have you? Yeah, I know, man. I'm all the way in Florida. I'll be in Seattle pretty soon. I've heard of React jobs in Washington that pay more than for our front end. I mean, so here's the thing, guys. Depending on where you work, right? Like Google has different tiers, Facebook has different tiers, Amazon has different tiers. It really just depends where you work as a software engineer. I just had a buddy at Dropbox that like doubled his income by going to Dropbox, and some of these tech companies really do it. Do I love my job? I love being a software engineer. It's the best decision I've ever made. I mean, it's a fantastic field. It's a merit-based field. It's a field where you get paid what you're worth, and you don't need a degree to do it, right? I'm a 2-time college dropout. I have no computer science degree. I have no bachelor's in anything yet. I've done extremely well for myself, and I'm very grateful for that. And in terms of that, like, I love my career, and like, I love that. Truly, if you go to levels.fyi and you look at like what an architect at Google makes, it's $1 million a year. Like, there's different levels. So it's one of those things where you can continue to progress, right? Amazon has L4, L5, L6, all the way L10, similar things. And like, it's one of those things where like, you can just keep growing. The better you do, the more experience you have. If you want to stay as a dev, you can stay as a dev and just make ridiculous sums of money. And like, it's not all about money, but it's merit based, man. It's go and slay it, and you can do it well. Best of luck with my new role. Thank you, Jose. Yeah, man. So like, I mean, here's the thing: is like we hate these interviews, right? We hate these technical interviews. I hate them too, man. I've done them and I've given them, and it never feels good to see someone bomb it, and never feels good to bomb it. But think about this. Think about the fact that in a 5-hour interview, you can go and make 6 figures. If you can get your foot in the door by doing projects and studying and learning, all it takes from you to go from delivering pizzas to making 6 figures is 5 hours of time successfully completed. Sometimes it's just a take-home project. Sometimes it's an hour interview, 2 hours interview. That's absurd. It really is if you think about it. The average income in the US for a family is about $60,000. Do you know my first, and this is today, I think when I got my job, it was like 55. My very first programming job with zero programming experience was $62,000 in Florida, which is a lower cost of living than most areas. So I went from delivering pizzas, although I had a job in between there, but I went from delivering pizzas to showing through my skills, actually being able to demonstrate my proficiency. Now, it takes a lot to be able to demonstrate that proficiency, but I was able to, through free resources online, demonstrate my proficiency to somebody give me a high-paying role at an entry-level rate, right? So, like, that's some real stuff, man. And, like, it's skills-based. That's the crazy... That's probably, you know, if there's one thing I love about the industry is it's skills-based. And not every industry is like that, and some can't be, right? Like what are you how you gonna? Yeah, I'm learning to be a doctor on the side through YouTube, right? Like that's the cliche example, but you know, and not only that, it's a skill. It's a skill that you can use outside of work. You know, there's certain things that you work in that really are hard to apply externally, right? If you're a chemical engineer, I'm sure you can have a side hustle. Or if you're a mechanical engineer, I'm sure you can, but it's a little harder, right? There's more overhead. You might need a lab. You know, you know how much overhead I need to go and just start any internet project? Nothing. I might need $10 for a domain or my PC, which I would already have, right? It's a skill in which I can apply to other things to build passive income, to grow. It's fantastic, man. And as far as what I do for a living is different every single day. There's some days that are a little bit similar to the other. They're this, they're that, you know. But my goal in my entire career is just to keep getting better and progressing. You know, when I have my 1 year, like reviews at organizations, and they say, you know, what are your goals? I tell them the same thing. I've said the same thing at every place. My goal is to progress my career and get larger checks. That's it. Like, I'm very straightforward. Like, I don't want to beat around the bush. My goal is simply to become a better developer or progress in my career and increase my income, because I want to do things in life that are going to be expensive. I want to take care of my friends and family. It doesn't matter. Maybe I want to donate it all to charity. Doesn't matter. I want to make more money. And I'm not ashamed of that. Our industry allows that to happen. It's hard. And in those 5 hours of time, there are years of experience, right? Like when I do consulting for ridiculous amounts of money on the side, it's not that they're paying me the 1 hour. They're paying me because in that 1 hour, I spent 10,000 hours being able to solve their problem in 1 hour. That's what they're paying me for. And so if they wanted to go and figure it out on their own, they could but it's going to cost them 10,000 hours of work, right? Like, it's the truth. Like, if you're having programming problems and you want to solve your own personal programming problems, there's absolutely zero reason that you can't go and learn these skills, other than time and energy, which are valid reasons. But in terms of like barrier of entry in the U.S., where internet is fairly cheap and most people have access to electricity and all that, so I don't know, man. We went off tangent. I think caffeine finally kicked in a little bit. My hair though, I can't tell. Is this a good look, or is this a? There we go. That's better. I think I like that. I call this the Sonic Hedgehog. How's that? The Sonic. Puppies. What are you doing now, Ryan? Let's see here. Look at this. My man Ryan. Listen to the Redondo people in the house over here. College dropouts for the win, baby. I know, I'm good on you, man. But yeah, man, it's hard work, man. And it's, by the way, like, it's not without sacrifice. I'm almost positive, I'm almost positive I've ruined my relationship with April because I became a workaholic. And like, money hasn't made me happy. So, but I was unhappy when I was living paycheck to paycheck. Like the happiness between, $70,000 and where my income is now, and like, this will never compete with the $15,000 a year to $70,000 like that. Like this, let me tell you right now. So this is a valid money lesson for you all right now. The happiness you're going to get from transitioning your life from like a minimum wage job to a job where you make about 70,000, that jump, enjoy it. You'll never get it again. And understand that, and don't chase it, because you can chase money forever. And if you do that, you won't live, and you'll be miserable. So understand this. This is important. This is some real shit right here, guys. I'm telling you, the minimum wage jump to a commendable salary where you're do that. There will be a happiness gain here in terms of lower stress. From here to here, you can triple the jump. There will not be a happiness gain here. There might be a little. There might be a fun gain. There might be a lower stress gain, but the happiness, it's not there. It wasn't for me. That's not to say you're going to be less happy. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am saying is, don't think you're going to repeat that, right? It's like chasing a high, and if you're a drug addict or whatnot, you're never getting there again. When it comes to money, I give you a beautiful lecture. All right, start again today's semester at FIU. Good for you. How are your responsive design skills? Great, man. I can build a responsive website in no time. CSS Grid for the win, baby. I love me some CSS Grid. So money can buy you fun. So Brandon, okay. Another specific thing that you need to understand. Money can buy you fun, but fun is not happiness. Let that sink in real quick. Money can buy you fun, but fun is not happiness. They're two different things. And fun is temporary, and oftentimes it's not fun being alone. So keep that in mind. CSS grid with Flexblock make responsive design much easier. Yeah, you just have to understand media queries also. Money can buy you freedom, though, and freedom is happiness. Yeah, but true freedom requires ridiculous amounts of money. Like, it can buy you a house, it can buy you a lower stress levels, but true financial freedom, we're talking about millions of dollars typically. So let's say we went from 15 to 70. What we're basically then saying is that we need to go, and in that 70, we're going from $70,000 to maybe $500,000, $700,000 a year to get to a point where we have so much money. Boom. So yeah, but not everyone wants to live. Let me tell you, as somebody who lives thousands of miles away from his family. So my family lives in California, Idaho. They're all in the west areas. Like, yeah. It's already hard enough to see them. That's on me because I've also been a workaholic. But that's another reason my previous relationship failed is isolation. So being isolated with somebody like me, it gets very lonely sometimes. Trying to do better. So where am I headed next? I'm going to Amazon. Yes. Yeah. And like, it's crazy. Here's a real thought. This is good. This is a real thought going on in my brain. From a financial perspective, it is significantly better to live in Florida than in Seattle from a pure cost of living perspective, because I'm getting paid my Seattle rate. So like, in theory, I should try and stay in Florida as long as I can. I'm thinking of moving before all of that happens. It's a thought that's been happening in my head. Once things settle, seeing how things go, getting up and going, doing it sooner than later, just to be closer to family for that exact reason. So like, even though I have some roots here and I've made some great friends and met some great people, these are real thoughts that happen in my brain. And it's not a financial decision. Financially, I should stay working remote in Florida as long as possible. So you should learn Node.js over PHP. Yeah, I think it's awesome too, Racket. I'm super excited. Yeah, Ryan, are you ready to? Ryan, are you ready to run my social media accounts, dog? Is that? Well, not you. Yeah, I mean, you're the director, dog. But like, you got one of your people who are going to help write emails for my courses that I have and all this sort of stuff. I I went on this awful date with this girl a couple months back. I should say it was awful. It was like she had broken up with her fiance 3 days prior and showed up to my date and looked like maybe she had been crying, but she worked in social media, and I just sort of chatted to her and listened, and it was actually a nice day. We had a beer and pizza. But it was apparent like neither one of us was going to talk to each other again. But I did hit her up like 3 weeks later trying to see if like maybe I could hire her and pick her brain for social media, but she never texts me back. Is the next goal to climb up the Amazon ranks? To the next goal is to find my future's wife. my future wife is the next goal. I do not value work over relationship, which is why my next goal is to find someone to build my. Here's the thing. Financially, I did very well. I'm very happy. I was doing well before Amazon. But I would like somebody to go do things with and spend money on. Like, not like spend money on, but like, I don't get great. Like, I'm simple, dude. Like, you know what I like? Good food, traveling, computers, anime, video games. Now you know all the things I like. I like my dogs. Like, it's been a long I can do all that stuff. I like to do those things with somebody else. I like my free time to be spent with a significant other. I'm slowly dying alone over here. We've reached the part of the live stream where we have talked about my dating life. So it gets here every time. It does, man. I really, you know what, man? I didn't even want to get to it, but someone always brings that shit up, man. I was good. I was like, man, you know, someone asked, "What's your next goal, Dylan?" You know, let's set me off, dude. Just popped in, and I just want to say that I live in Oregon. Did nothing but cook for minimum wage for years. I went to OSU for CS. Just graduated and have a job with 85K salary and could not be happier. My man, Dan Green. Dan Green, get in that cheddar. Get in that green. Good on you, Dan, man. Good on you. All right, Dan. So, congratulations, first off. Secondly, quick rundown of what every new grad from college should do. Okay. Your lifestyle is still that of a cook. We first want to pay off all our debt immediately. The best thing that you could ever do to yourself is live a debt-free lifestyle. Some people are going to tell you, oh, your student loan interests are lower, this or that. No. Stress, anxiety, risk. All right. That's all you have to remember. The one thing that money can do to increase your happiness is eliminate stress, anxiety, risk. Okay. So pay off your student loans. Don't go into debt. Once you pay off your student loans, invest 15% into retirement immediately. Immediately 15% into retirement, 401k, right? Any place you're going to work that you're making 85K as a dev is going to have 401k. 15% into retirement. Save for a house. Now, if you are dating somebody, great. If not, maybe hold off. But save and invest. You can put them into an S&P 500 ETF that is going to make you 10% a year. If you don't know what to buy, it'll be completely diversified. Once you're done with that, enjoy your money and just repeat. Put 25% of your money into investments, 15% into retirement, eliminate your debt first. That's all. That's all you got to do. And you'll be financially set. You'll be happy. You'll be able to buy what you want. Disclaimer, not a financial advisor. We don't touch organic social media for clients, just the paid side that directly converts to purchases. Listen, I'll pay if. Listen, Ryan, I have 30,000 emails on Udemy I can send out, and hey, puppies, and other things. But if I wouldn't even know to get started with this stuff. But I mean, I could throw some money at it. I don't know. What's a good campaign stuff to throw at it as an entry? Like, oh, let's give this a shot. You're the fifth person last week. Okay, so here. Okay, do you know if you invested in your 401k for 30 years and you made $50,000 and all you did was put 15% in, that you would have in 30 years put about 300 grand. Hit me up on chat. All right, hey, I'm dropping knowledge, bitch. Do you know if you did that and you just made like a 12% return on mutual funds, which is pretty reasonable, that you would have in 30 years, you would have put in around 300,000, if I remember correctly, but you would, due to the powers of compound interest, have made around, you would actually have close to like $3.3 million. So you would have put 300,000 in, but you'd be retiring in your 30 years of work years with about $3.3 million. That's at 50,000, by the way, at 15%. Now, that's also why you want to do a Roth 401k rather than a traditional. A traditional 401k means that your money's going to go in there without being taxed. Okay. And that sounds great because it requires less money to go in. So you're paying taxes later, which means you then not only pay taxes on the 300,000 that you put in there, but you also then pay taxes on the $3 million of interest. Now, a Roth 401k, my personal preference, you get taxed up front on the 300,000 and you do not pay taxes on the $3 million of interest. Which one sounds like a better idea? Do you take the short-term hit for your long-term objective? Of course you do. Not a financial advisor. So purely for entertainment purposes. Right? So Shane, if you can, listen, Dan, my man Dan was a cook making minimum wage. There's absolutely zero reason Dan can't put 15% into his 401k. How much? You know what? Let's just pull out the calculator. What is minimum wage? Where you said you were in Oregon, right? Oregon minimum wage is $11.25. So what is 11.25 times 40 times 52? 23.4. Dan 4x his income. He can put 15%. Close to 4x. 3.5x his income. He can put 15% into his 401k. What about the money that would have been taxed growing for you in the traditional? So a traditional 401k, basically, you get to put the money in, quote unquote, tax free. So if I have $1,500 I want to invest, $1,500 goes into it, right? But you don't pay taxes on it. All right, Dan. So figure out, okay. All right. My man, Dan. All right, Dan. All right, so, okay. Let's recommend some books real quick for you guys. If you go in the description, there should be a book called, okay. If you go in the description, there should be a book there called, what is that Dave Ramsey book? I'm drawing a blank on my brain right now. Not The Everyday Millionaire. That's Chris Hogan. Not Retired Inspired. That's Chris Hogan. Both of those books are great reads for those of you who are interested in saving for your future. Retired Inspired and Everyday Millionaire. The Total Money Makeover. Go and read. Thank you. The Total Money Makeover. Anyhow, Dan. So, Dan, what I would say is figure out what your expenses are for 6 months. Have that in a savings account. Moving forward, that's probably going to be $5,000 to $10,000. Really depends. After that, S&P 500 ETF while you go and learn about investments. So that's it. But okay, so the thing about the 401k. So a traditional 401k, if I take $1,500 and I put in my 401k, it takes $1,500. and you don't get taxed on it. But that money, because it wasn't taxed at the time, you then, as it accumulates interest, and mind you, a 401k is supposed to be a long-term investment, and that 300,000 that in our example that went to 3.3 million, you're now paying taxes on the 3.3 million. A Roth, you pay taxes on the 1,500 as it goes in. The benefit to that is that you don't no longer pay taxes on the 3.3 million because you paid them up front on the 300,000. So your interest grows tax-free. And your interest is what's going to make you the money long term. This is why you don't keep your money in a savings account. You keep your rainy day fund, which, Dan, is what you do. You're not going to get rich on 15K, right? Like, this is a starting point. That's so that you can lower your stress levels. And when your money goes into the account, into your investment accounts, and they go up and down, you're not stressing because you have money that's there, your safety net, right? So, not a financial advisor. Yeah, take the tax hit now, man. Also, who knows what taxes? You think taxes are going down in the future, going up, right? I didn't know. Ryan, are there companies that actually? How old is Dan? I don't know, but Dan, I'm just trying to give it. I'm using Dan as an example here. Dan, for all I know, Dan is a financial genius, but I'm using Dan as an example because there's plenty of people just like Dan, like myself, who had to go through this learning process of how do I get good with money? How do I make sure? Like, I went through the same thing Dan went through. I'm sick of being broke, tired, and hungry. I'm sick of being, Dan's 27, so he hit that age. I was around 25 when I was starting it. I'm sick of being broke, tired, and hungry. And you know what? You hit that point and you say, okay, great. How can I no longer be broke, tired, and hungry? And then you go and you get, in his case, CS degree. You go and figure out how to make more money. And then you get, okay, great. That solved the immediate problem. Now, how do I go and solve the future problems? Because I don't want to be broke, tired, and hungry in the future. Like, this is good. This is so much better than what it was before. So where do I go from here? So I'm using Dan as an example because plenty of us don't get this conversation. Even in well-off families, you don't have these conversations because you don't even know what to ask the questions. Maybe money's not talked about because it's sort of a sacrilegious thing, or like not sacrilegious, but it's a taboo subject. What does one suppose the risk of the government backing out on that Roth IRA deal, say 30, 40 years from now? I mean, sure. I mean, it's going to be lower than the taxes you're going to pay on it. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case, but I mean, the law is the law, right? What are you going to do? Do I do freelance work? I do occasionally. The problem is most people, it's few and far between companies who are going to pay me $150 to $200 an hour to do freelance. Yeah, I almost look like finance stuff is like, it's one of those things where, like when you're getting started and learn software and you didn't even know what to Google, like you're like, it's just not working. All right, have a good one, Dan. It's just one of those things where it's just not working and you don't even know what to look for. It doesn't make sense to operate on speculation. Well, one thing is guaranteed to be taxed, and the other is currently not. The speculation is that you're going to, I don't know. Speculation. I mean, we're speculating on everything. in this when it comes to legal stuff. So it's like, we're speculating the government's not going to raise our taxes in 90%, right? It's like, it's, ugh. I mean, what you got? Okay, I mean, Brent, here's the thing, right? We have to make. So we make the best decision we have with the information we currently have, right? And like, if you take that outlook, you land on a part of the Roth IRA, in my opinion, right? So like, if things change, we do the best we can when things change, and we adjust our strategy, right? So, like for me, I'll take an instance. When all this stuff crashed with COVID, I didn't buy S&P 500 ETFs. I bought things that dropped 70%, even though that dropped 40% because I thought they were going to go up. Yeah. But anyhow, guys, this has been going on a little bit. It's been fun. It's been real. Yeah, baby girl. Tesla, dude. Dude, I sold Tesla. I own Tesla right when I first started investing a couple of years. I sold it. It went up like it doubled or whatever. I was like, I'll get rid of it. Tesla's overhyped and to the moon. I put like $80 in Fiverr stock on the IPO just because I had like $80 left. Fiverr's up 800%. What, $80? It's worth like 1,000 right now. That I put it. It's just like I put $80 in Fiverr. Just like, I have $80 Fiverr IPO today. Sure, I bought 4 stocks. It's up like 800% Fiverr. Oh my god. Yeah, man. Yeah, they're all up. All right, guys, man. Not a financial advisor. I appreciate you all. Ryan, I'll reach out to you one of these days, man. I'm starting my new job on Monday, but we'll definitely talk and catch up and whatnot, man. At the very least. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a good weekend. I think this coffee's kicked in enough for me to go set up that jacuzzi. I'm like almost positive one of these dogs is gonna pop it. Like, like I didn't even check to see how dog proof these things are. Like, they're just gonna be running around and biting each other. They're gonna do the same stuff they're doing right here this whole time. Like, look at that crazy girl right there. Like, she's ready, man. She's ready to pop a jacuzzi. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye, everybody.